Strike a pose, there's nothing to it.
Children continue to grow without a healthy childhood, without education, and condemning them to a life of poverty.
And I know that we'll do it again, so lay me down on the floor.
More than 1,000 workers were crushed to death.
He could see that my hand was stuck, and then he said, "Do you want your life, or do you want your hand?" I said, "I don't need my hand. Please save me."
Where did I go wrong?
It's not about the people inside the industry, it's just about the profit that can be made.
Why do I keep running back to you, running back to you?
Just a disclaimer, in this video I am in no way trying to criticize people who buy from these brands, because it's pretty much, in fact I think it's honestly impossible to find a brand on the high street that don't use sweatshops. Secondly, I'm not suggesting that these brands are exclusive TikTok brands. However, these brands are doing extremely well on TikTok, so I just wanted to draw attention to the things that they might not want you to see. Let's get into the video. So let's just establish one thing. All of the brands that I'm about to talk about perpetuate fast fashion, and if you don't know what that is, I'll just give you a quick rundown. So basically, fast fashion was a term coined in the 2000s to describe the quick turnover of cheaply produced clothes that keep up with the latest fashion trends.
Kim Kardashian recently took to social media to slam fast fashion brands 2 days after she wore an eye-catching Terry Mugler design, which had been ripped off by Fashion Nova. Within 24 hours of Kim being seen in the outfit, Fashion Nova launched a very similar dress just for $50.
So let's start off with the big guns. Fashion Nova. Now, Fashion Nova have completely taken over TikTok. They have 1.5 million followers and have had partnerships with exclusive celebrities such as Kylie Jenner, Cardi B, Kalani and Amber Rose. So you wouldn't be wrong in thinking that this brand is legit and probably quite trustable, right? How wrong we all were. What is also interesting about Fashion Nova is they have tags saying made in the US, which I don't know what it is, but I feel like knowing that the product is made in the country that's distributed, for some reason lulls us into a false sense of security, into thinking that it must be ethically made. Because I think when we think of sweatshops, we think about a far off country, somewhere over there, nothing to do with like Western society. But that is where you would be wrong. In 2018, the New York Times published a damning report detailing Fashion Nova's terrible factory conditions and the fact that their workers will make clothes for under $4.66 an hour, bearing in mind that the minimum wage in America is $7.25. So that in itself is problematic. Fashion Nova owe their workers over $3.6 million. So they are underpaying their workers by that much, which is honestly crazy. According to an ex-employee who made clothes for the company for around 7 months, described the factory conditions as, quote, "They were not good. There were cockroaches and there were rats." Now, after this, Fashion Nova released this statement, of course, denying everything.
Obviously, there's no truth to it, obviously.
They were unconfirmed, so I can't say anything. However, knowing what we know so far, it really wouldn't shock me. As well as brands that were already quite well established before TikTok, it is also doing well for brands that weren't so much, such as Shein. Now, Shein is problematic because of how little is known about it. So their founder is this guy. However, that's pretty much all we know. On most websites, at least clothing ones, they will have a pledge to be environmentally friendly and source their clothes ethically. And even if it is mainly publicity and it's probably not true, Shein does not have anything of the sort. So that immediately is quite interesting. So one of the massive pulls of Shein is that there is such a variety of clothes for such low prices. However, why aren't we questioning why these prices are so low? I don't think they're completely clean. As well as this, I think out of all of these brands, I think Shein is probably the most problematic with promoting fast fashion because their clothes are really low quality. You really don't need to look far on the internet to find reviews and people saying that the things are badly made and they fell apart after one wash. I think the reason why Shein have been so successful is because it perfectly encapsulates the teenage demographic. Cheap clothes, we want fashionable clothes and we want them now. And that is what Shein caters to. As well as this, Shein can't seem to get themselves out of scandal. After they overcome one thing, it's just another thing. As recently as a week ago, they released a swastika necklace on their website. Now, in all fairness, before the Nazis took it over and used it to brand themselves, it did used to be a signifier of peace. However, why in your right mind as a mainstream brand would you ever think a swastika necklace was ever appropriate? Let's talk Forever 21, shall we? I didn't do this as like a strict brand just because they don't actually have a TikTok account. However, they have a pretty prominent presence on the app as their hashtag has over 180.1 million shares. Okay, so this is a bit of backstory, but bear with me. So Forever 21 source their cotton from Uzbekistan, which you may not think is too problematic until you realise how this cotton is actually being extracted. The Uzbekistan government actually own all of their land and they lease it out to their citizens, meaning that the people don't actually own the land itself, they're just renting it out. And at a certain point every single year, to earn their keep as such, people are drafted in and forced to pick cotton. And this isn't just unemployed people or a certain group. Teachers, lawyers, doctors, even children are roped in and forced to pick cotton, having very, very strict quotas, and they are publicly shamed and beaten if they do not meet these quotas. Knowing this, Forever 21 still source 90% of their cotton from Uzbekistan. They are often kept in cramped conditions like sheds with no electricity or running water for months on end. Many die, and actually many contract illnesses and disease from how unsanitary the conditions are. And that completes our deep dive. A really different video than I normally do, but genuinely, even though it was really, really difficult to research, I am very glad that I now know this. I think it's really important for us to be aware where our clothes are coming from, how our clothes are being sourced, and what companies we're actually giving our money. I'm gonna do another video another time, I think, on like trying sustainable brands that actually source their clothes ethically, because I'm genuinely curious how I can reduce my carbon footprint, and I don't really want to be giving my money to companies that actually actively use slavery. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you guys later.